This is where I profoundly disagree with the typical liberal, especially a certain kind of free market liberal, right? Free market liberal says there is a place called the marketplace in which you come in and I come in and we freely exchange and then we walk away not having coerced each other. This is like capitalism and freedom. This is Milton Friedman. In fact, the market is shot through with coercion, right? This is actually a good progressive insight that like when I sign an employment, when I meet my employer as an employee, yes, we are both free to sign or walk away. The minute I sign the employment contract, I'm subject to almost 24/7 coercion by my employer. Now, it's true that that's not the government doing it, but it's no less real just because it's a more kind of diffuse, private kind of coercion. So I think so
I don't see why people working for,
the key post-liberal insight is that coercion is 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 inevitable in society. The market society, whether it's bankruptcy laws, whether it's the use of private arbitration as a way to defer actual sort of courtroom justice, whether it's just the power of if I don't sell this to you, you can choose not to buy it, but you might also starve. All of those are instances of more diffuse private coercion. And we see now, especially on the ideological front, how it doesn't take a old school sort of total state to practice really kind of coercive ideological punishment of the citizen. If you say something about whether or not a man can become a woman on Twitter, you'll be unpersoned, and that actually bears some cost. That is not just like, oh, so now you just can't post on Twitter. Well, no, a lot of that is where we are supposed to be able to debate ideas in a free society. I can go outside in a street and bang a drum and say I believe this and that, and people will think I'm a nutter. It's these platforms that matter, and it's where you have your social identity. And if they take it away from you, you're sort of unpersoned, and that's what they do. So it just shows you to
but
me that's opened up my eyes to the idea that liberalism's promise of sort of it, of a the state gets out of the way is illusory. First of all, the state in many ways doesn't get out of the way, but then the marketplace itself is full of tyranny.
well, when you say tyranny, let's take your example, which you said, which I think is that when you sign an employment contract, you are controlled 24/7. You said by your boss.
Oh,
No,
okay,
not
for
true.
two-thirds of the
Not
day,
just not true.
a third.
You can leave that office, and certainly most of the time you can practice whatever religion you want. You can bring your kids up whatever way you want. You can buy and sell what you want. The idea that there are deals made in which, yes, you're going to pay me, I'm going to do this job, and in doing that job, I'm certainly not going to attack you or violate professional standards in working for you. That's not the same thing as tyranny. And in a vibrant economy, and people who live in actual tyranny will be the first to tell you that.
Here I have to slightly suggest that you and I, so like I run my own publication with a few colleagues, and you kind of work independently as a journalist. If you look at the actual employment contract today that's a Fortune 500 company uses, you'd be shocked at the degree to which you are surrendering a right to be surveilled. So, for example, I could show you actual examples of Fortune 500 companies in which, when you sign the employment agreement, you agree that they encourage you to use your own devices to access company systems, and in doing so, you grant them the right to confiscate your device in the case of any kind of dispute, or to be able to, or you grant them access to monitor your online behavior. The growing use of, for
So,
example, the
so
banking.
this requires adjustment. It requires reform. It
That's
requires
what I'm talking about.
trade unions to push back against this, to
I
say
agree. I just
let's
want
have a
reform.
less restrictive workplace. This can all be done within the rubric of liberal democracy. You don't have to change its principles to moderate the way it is enforced.